It's time now for a look latest in local news. In the news, the Wayne County Commissioners held their first official meeting of January 2023 Wednesday night. Turned into a marathon, 3 hours and 45 minutes with a 2-hour executive session to discuss personnel and litigation. New commissioners on hand, including recently elected Tim Hopkins, Mike Gordon, and Jamie Hickox, along with the returning commissioners James Thomas and Kevin McCrary, who's now the chairman, and Jamie Hickox, the vice chairman. Before the meeting began, Chairman Kevin McCrary made a motion to take off the agenda item of items with commissioners, saying there was going to be a very long agenda, and he was hoping to attempt to shorten the meeting. James Thomas voted no, but the item was taken off the agenda. More on the meeting later in the newscast, but we begin with what took place after the 2-hour executive session to discuss personnel and litigation. As we reported Tuesday, we believe the personnel item was a discussion about the county administrator, Ed Jeffords, who sent the commissioners a letter of resignation effective at the end of December of this year, and in the letter stated that instead of dealing with the divisiveness and controversy that such political and personal decisions inevitably bring, he says he felt it was in the best interest of his family, his health, the commission, and the citizens of Wayne County let his intentions be clear in this matter. Well, after last night's 2-hour executive session behind closed doors with the county administrator and the county attorney, Andy Beaver, the two sides had decided to part ways immediately with a verbal agreement that will be signed by both parties within the next 7 days to be signed and made official. After the executive session ended, the commissioners and clerk and attorney all came back to the regular meeting room, but not coming back to the room and absent was Administrator Ed Jeffords. Again, here was Chairman Kevin McCrary making the announcement of the agreement that was agreed to behind closed doors in executive session.
Effective immediately, that the contract between Wayne County Board of Commissioners and Mr. Ed Jeffords will be terminated. Mr. Jeffords and the County Board of Commissioners have agreed to enter into a separation agreement to terminate his contracts immediately. The terms on which we are separating, Mr. Jeffords will receive $50,000 as a lump sum compensation and health insurance until October 2023. As part of the terms of the separation agreement, the parties will have a called meeting and within the next 7 days to vote on the separation agreement, which has already been made verbally, at which this time both parties will enter into that agreement. And I need a second on that, please.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner McCrary,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Hickox.
Yes.
And once again, this is currently a verbal agreement at this time that both parties have agreed upon. Again, they'll meet within the next 7 days to make it official. Thus, a unanimous vote. No one willing to talk with WIFO with them after the meeting. All saying they wanted to wait until the agreement is signed and official before they make any comments. But the bottom line is that the county is without an administrator today. A Jeffords contract terminated immediately. Once again, he receives a $50,000 lump sum, retains his health insurance with the county until the end of October. And there's a lot of news from the regular meeting. We'll come back, take a look at those items right after this word from our sponsor, the commercial messages, so please stay tuned. Wayne County Commissioner had several items on their agenda besides the executive session. They heard from Auditor Cale Harris and received a good report. Harris stating the county is in good financial shape. County renewed the employees' health insurance. They raised the deductible from $175,000 to $200,000, which they state will save county employees some money. Not a lot, but Commissioners Mike Gordon and Tim Hopkins stated that anytime they can save employees money, that they're all in favor of that. They appointed Jamie Hickox and Kevin McCrary as their two commissioners who will meet with the Public Facilities Authority, and they appointed Autumn Starling to the Region 5 Advisory Council for Mental Health. The other board appointments on the agenda were tabled last night. They also approved the engineering services contract for Sunset Boulevard improvements. Thomas and Hutton received the contract. It's a T-SPLOS project. No extra expense to the county. James Thomas says it's all about economic development. They state that this Sunset Boulevard project is a joint city and county project and vital to the new industrial park for Wayne County's IDA. There were some 3-2 votes last night, some disagreements among the commissioners. The first disagreement was a 3-2 vote to approve term limits for commissioners through legislation. The term limit, a 4-year term. Kevin McCrary, Mike Gordon, and Jamie Hickox voted yes. James Thomas and Tim Hopkins voted no. Hopkins says he simply doesn't like government taking over the rights of citizens. Hopkins says let the voters decide. If they don't want someone representing them, they'll vote them out. Hopkins felt the commission was wrong in setting term limits and voted no. James Thomas, the longest-serving commissioner on the board, said Wednesday that this is his last term. Just ask his wife. Thomas also echoed Hopkins' comments. However, Thomas said he believed if the voters want someone out, they'll simply vote them out. But to set term limits is the wrong thing for local government to impose. Once again, it did pass, though, by a 3-2 vote. Again, James Thomas and Tim Hopkins voting no. Only one county in the state of Georgia has term limits on local government politicians. Also a 3-2 vote, Mike Gordon stated he ran on a conservative platform. He wanted a conservative on the Heart of Georgia board. Motion to rescind Tyrone Johnson's appointment, who currently serves on that Heart of Georgia board for the county. Jamie Hickok seconded the motion, and they, along with Kevin McCrary, voted yes, while Tim Hopkins and James Thomas voted no. Hopkins says he's a conservative as anyone, but he says if someone's doing a good job and attending the meetings, then it's simply wrong to simply just go and remove the person just because of his politics. Once again, the vote 3-2 to rescind Tyrone Johnson's appointment. They state they'll appoint someone else at the next meeting. And let's look at some of the items on the agenda for the Wayne County Commissioners. We'll come back with a final news note after this word from our sponsor, the commercial messages, so please stay tuned. Final notes in the news, the Wayne County Board of Education met Tuesday for their first meeting of the year 2023. They've elected Joe McPipkin as their new chairman, Bruce Harris as their vice chairman. School Superintendent Sean Kelly gave an update on James E. Bacon Elementary. Says he's heard nothing but good reports from students, teachers, and parents on the new building. So everyone's back under one roof, no more using the church or the tech center for classrooms. Big topic at the school board meeting is the push for the East Blost, the continuation of that 1 cent penny for education. The vote comes up in March of this year. The date of the vote is March 21st, but there will be 3 weeks of early voting before that date. The 1 cent penny expected to raise over $30 million over a 5-year period for the local Board of Education. Top 2 projects will be the building a new ROTC building and a new agricultural center. If it passes, those 2 projects will be completed. Other projects will have to be decided and voted on by the Board of Education as they'll approve or disapprove future projects. One decision that the current board will make in the near future is whether or not to renovate JC Stadium or simply build a brand new stadium across the street from the high school. Estimate cost received by the superintendent from an agricultural firm says the cost to renovate the stadium is around $9 million. To build a new stadium around $18 million. Once again, that decision will be made by the local Board of Education. But the East Blost vote set for March of this year. The election date again Tuesday, March 21st. Before that, 3 weeks of early voting. Campaigns underway with the superintendent school board members asking Wayne County's voters to simply support the 1 cent penny for education and vote yes when they head to the ballot box in March of this year. Finally, the focus of hog hunters in Wayne County. February 17th through the 19th with the Wayne County Board of Tourism's Hog Jam. The statewide hunt begins at 2 p.m. that Friday, February 17th, and Sunday, February 19th at 12 noon. Registration for the hunt will close at 6 p.m. on Friday, February 17th at 6 p.m., with on-site registration available at hunt headquarters at the J.C. Fair building. Online registration will be open through 2 p.m. on Friday. Registration is $50 for bow or gun hunters, or hunters can pay $100 to hunt in both categories. Hunters 16 and under hunt free with a registered adult hunter. All hogs must be weighed into the J.C. Fairgrounds in Jesup, but participants can hunt anywhere in the state or any of the connecting states. They have legal permission to do so. Hunters must be in line at weigh-in by 12 noon or they're disqualified. Participants are responsible for knowledge of the rules. Registration rules are available online through active.com, or registration forms can be printed from the Tourism Board website, WayneTourism.com. The Wayne County Tourism Board Hog Jam again set for February 17th through the 19th with headquarters again at the J.C. Fair building. And that's going to do it for latest in local news. Sports comes your way in a few minutes. Bob Morgan, have a great day.